Welcome to Moments with Marianne. This is your host, Marianne Pastana, and we're here today with special guest, Julia Jackson from Heather James Fine Art, who's here to share with us the historic Sir Winston Churchill art exhibit. The Sir Winston Churchill art exhibit, Making Art, Making History, is a rare opportunity to see the largest collections of paintings by Churchill outside of the United Kingdom. Julia Jackson is Senior Vice President at Heather James Fine Art, which boasts one of the largest networks of galleries in the country. Heather James Fine Art is dedicated to bringing exceptional art to private clients and museums globally while providing the utmost personalized logistics, curating, and financial services. So welcome to the show, Julia Jackson.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be chatting with you today.
Oh my goodness, what an honor it is to have you here and to talk about this exhibit. I mean, I love art. When I heard about this, I was so excited. So how did you even get to this place where you were able to have these 10 pieces of Sir Winston Churchill's art on exhibit?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'll say that Winston Churchill has been a specialty of our gallery, Heather James Fine Art, for many years. And I'd say, particularly in recent years, many of our clients have come to us actively seeking out his works. And so we've been in conversations with many owners of Winston Churchill. And one of the owners whom we've been in discussion for a while has seen many of our prior sales and exhibitions. And we began discussions with him and things proceeded from there. And so we're particularly thrilled with this exhibition in particular because, it's a really rare opportunity to see the largest a collection of paintings by Winston Churchill outside of the United Kingdom, and one of which that has never been exhibited publicly.
And that is a big deal within itself. The fact that it's never been exhibited publicly. I mean, it's a rare chance to be able to see all these just astounding paintings.
It is. And I'll say it's been so fun working with this family in particular because they're such Churchill experts. Many of these paintings have been with this particular family for the last 50 plus years, and it has remained with them, and their love for the artist and his works really shines through, which is one of the most fun parts of my job, and being able to learn more about why they chose to collect, or why the parents chose to collect certain paintings, why then the children chose to collect certain paintings, and how they all brought them together, and how, once the paintings are also all together, how they talk to each other, and seeing them in their time span, starting from, 1919 all the way to 1958. So it's from his early years, beginning painting, which interestingly, he started when he was 40, all the way through the final years of his life in 1958 before he passed away in 1965. So it's been really fun to work on this project and see the exhibition come to life.
I would say that it is, without a doubt. Now, with this exhibition, are some of these paintings available for purchase, or is this mostly for the public to come and see and really appreciate? Because this is such a big piece of history.
That's a great question. So, excitingly, many of the paintings are available. There are 16 paintings in the collection in total. 10 of those paintings are available for sale. However, I will say several of them have sold. So we do have several paintings left for purchase at this time.
So, do you have any history in regards to what started Sir Winston Churchill's just drive to paint?
It's so interesting because he, of course, is one of the most famous and beloved British statesmen, serving as prime minister twice, awarded a Nobel Peace Prize for literature. And while we know so many of his professional pursuits, not everyone is aware of his beloved pastime of painting. And through our research and through all of our learnings, his paintings we found really played a critical role in his life. and offering another way to understand this, this towering figure. And our exhibition kind of asks us to contemplate the role of painting in this man's incredibly, how do I say, multifaceted life. So, as I mentioned earlier, in 1915, his love of painting began. And we've learned that it's through his neighbor, Sir John Lavery, who gave him his first lesson. Since then, Winston Churchill painted about 550 works in his lifetime. And we estimate that there are fewer than 125 in private hands today. I'd say mostly all of those works are in major institutions, permanent collections, which is why privately owned works such as ours and at this quantity are particularly exciting to see, as they're not always on display. And it's fascinating to see how he balanced the weight of public leadership and the constant press of his writing output with kind of this personal solace of painting that he found. And looking at art history as well, he's clearly quite influenced by the Impressionist art movement. And we see that, landscapes were the genre of choice for him, and a majority of his paintings, and also in our exhibition. Painting en plein air, which means in the open air, was a hallmark for Impressionists. And we see that Churchill did this as well. And so he would often haul his paints and canvas outdoors and into nature. And kind of looking at a landscape painting by Churchill is a bit of like reading a page of his diary, as each location marked a special place for him. And so many of them were, in visiting friends abroad during his many travels, et cetera. So there were a lot of beautiful locations and kind of his own postcard of sorts for each of these places that he visited and enjoyed.
It's that and then some. I mean, these paintings are so striking. Can you share a story or two behind some of these specific paintings in the collection?
Sure. I'd say, Morocco was one example where Churchill clearly had a strong love affair with Morocco, which began in the winter of 1935. And Sir John Lavery, who gave him his first lesson, gave him some advice. He took the advice of his friend, and he chose Marrakesh to enjoy the light and the beautiful scenery. And he returned to Morocco several times, and we think that each of his visits were colored by his personal enjoyment, and also coloring our understanding of each painting that he did. I'd also say, interestingly, like not just exotic locations inspired him. He visited the estates of many of his friends, particularly those in the United Kingdom. And one painting was in the country home of Philip Sassoon, who was a political colleague of his and encouraged his artistic efforts. And so we have another artwork at this location, and we're able to really see that these visits allowed him to bring out his brushes and capture this idyllic time that was away from the stresses of his professional life and having these moments of calm and serenity for him to personally enjoy, which is so beautifully shown on the canvases, and ones that particularly when you're in person, you can really feel when you're face to face looking at the canvases.
There are so many of his paintings. There's one in Scotland that has been calling to me ever since I've seen it, and it's just stunning. These paintings are absolutely stunning.
Oh, that one's one of my favorites.
Is it? Can you share a
Yeah.
little bit about that one?
It is. That was it actually was, the work is accompanied by a letter that he wrote to the friend that he gifted it to. So many of these paintings also were gifts for friends after staying with them either at their homes or being on vacation together in the south of France, etc. In this particular instance, he was in Lacquer in Scotland and enjoyed his time so much. And so we have the actual letter that accompanied the painting as a gift to his friend with a signed signature from Sir Winston Churchill on it. And so the pairing of the two is so fun and makes it come to life even more than the work already does. So it's quite a special piece of history.
That's just absolutely remarkable. I mean, when we think of Churchill, many of us remember his legacy of being a strong figure, saving the free world along with FDR during World War II. What a remarkable gift it is to get a glimpse into his personal life.
Yeah, and I think in a time of, when so much is written about a person, and we know so much from the history books about him, and being able to see a different side of this storied figure, I think, and a really intimate side. I think a side that the public wasn't always privy to. And it's, I think, in any artist, but for so many painters, there's a real intimacy and vulnerability that you show from these works that you create by hand, from your own thoughts and in your interpretation from your surroundings. And I think being able to really look at and admire, and gives you a better understanding of who he was and his interpretation of the area, and the different areas that he was, but also what else was going on in his life, I think is just a really unique way to capture a different slice of such a historic figure.
Well, on that note, we're going to pause here for a quick break. You've been listening to Moments with Marianne. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
Are you an author, speaker, or expert who is looking for more publicity? Visit radioguestlist.com and sign up for free interview requests from shows looking for guests. Radio Guest List is the #1 free booking resource for radio, podcasts, and TV talk shows who are looking for experts like you right now. Visit radioguestlist.com and sign up today to get the visibility you deserve.
There comes a moment when you realize you're somewhere special. When you discover that each beautiful creature that you see has been rescued from a life of absolute horror and brought to this incredibly free place. Here's where their lives were forever changed, and where yours will as well. Discover over 500 tigers, bears, and lions at the brand new visitor center at the Wild Animal Sanctuary just outside Denver. For more information, visit wildanimalsanctuary.org. Discover true freedom at the Wild Animal Sanctuary.
Internationally recognized and award-winning author Judy Goodman works and teaches outside the box of limited thinking. Working with people from every walk of life, her goal is to empower you to be the best you can be, no matter what the challenge is. Born with the gift of seeing beyond our normal vision, she has an extraordinary gift of working with every challenge. Teaching beyond conventional wisdom, her work is described as life-changing. Visit judygoodman.com. That's judygoodman.com.
I'd like to thank Jason Eastwood at Guitarfulness for sharing his inspiring music and talent with us. His music is known worldwide for cultivating atmospheres of harmony, inner peace, and clarity. Visit Jason's website at guitarfulness.com. Join his newsletter, be part of his community, and download his music. Welcome back to Moments with Marianne. We're here today with special guest Julia Jackson, who's the Senior Vice President at Heather James Fine Art, and here to share with us Sir Winston Churchill's art exhibit. So aside from just this remarkable exhibit that's here, and some of these pieces are available for people to purchase, I understand that his artwork has really just kind of taken off as far as value is concerned.
It has, and I think it's been really, as working closely in the art market, it's been really fun to watch that he in particular has really had a strong response in recent years. He had his auction record that was set in March of 2021. And interestingly, it was purchased by Angelina Jolie and then her husband, then Brad Pitt. And the work sold for $11.5 million, setting, as I said, setting a new auction record for Churchill. That painting was, Churchill's only wartime painting and was previously owned by FDR, which of course added to its value. But I think really speaks to the prices that he continues to demand. And we've continue to see other major sales that are continuing to happen, not necessarily at auction, but setting a new direction in the market privately. Also, from rarity data, since 1976, works by Winston Churchill have increased at a 10.3% annual rate of return. And as I mentioned earlier, over 48 years, Churchill painted about 550 paintings, and a majority of those are held in the United Kingdom's National Trust. There are fewer than 125 Churchill paintings available in private hands, and which makes that even more exciting to be able to the opportunity of being able to purchase one for yourself, given how few remain in private collections, of course, also increases the demand for his works.
I understand that his paintings don't become available that often.
They don't. And I think particularly at this, given, this large scale of the collection that we're working with here, I think particularly the number of these all at once is quite rare. And so it's when the opportunity does come, it's quite enticing, particularly for all different kinds of buyers. And we found buyers of Churchill. Several are, very accomplished collectors who own many of his works already. Also, we've had many first-time buyers as well over the years who just admire Churchill as a person and wanting their own piece of Churchill and his history and legacy to hang on their wall and to feel that, they have a tangible piece of it. So it's interesting because there's not one single kind of collector that's interested in him. It's a very wide range of individuals, which makes it more fun to be able to speak to people who are very well familiar and not necessarily familiar with this market.
So I understand that he really gave many of his paintings away as gifts to luminaries and staff. So do a lot of these paintings come with the history of the previous owners?
They do. Each of our paintings, and I'd say most major paintings in general, have what's called provenance associated with each painting. So that means that there's a historical record of each of the prior owners of the artwork. And so it will list starting from the earliest owner, and many times that person is Churchill himself or Churchill's daughter, or starting there, and then the subsequent owners that follow. So each of these paintings has this provenance that's associated with each painting. And what makes the exhibitions painting special is that so many of them come from this single family who acquired the works 50 plus years ago. And, they've only had maybe 2 or no more than 3 owners within the entire provenance, which makes the work that much more desirable. I'd say, the value for that increases when the fewer people that have, owned the work makes it more desirable. But I think that's another example of how few come up on the market, given that people do want to retain them. So it's a fun way to be able to track and know that you also yourself as a buyer will be going into the painting's history as well. As once you decide to sell, or if it stays within your family, your name won't necessarily, well, if you'd like it associated with the painting, it could be, but a line that's specific to you and your ownership will also be listed on it.
That's so impressive. And so Churchill paintings are considered a good investment at this point?
They are considered a good investment. We've sold many paintings Churchill paintings over the years, and several of which we've sold multiple times and increased in value for the resale value of them, particularly given his $11.5 million record that was hit in 2021. And so given his incredibly strong auction market prices that he's demanding, as well as the private market, so buying through galleries, those numbers have been considerably strong as well. We found that these are a very interesting investment alternative for, not just having stocks and bonds, but also having them, ones that you can actually hang on your wall and enjoy.
I'm all over that, like white on rice, let me tell you. And having beautiful paintings, grace your walls and have that it be an investment that just works, basically it's appreciating year after year after year. I mean, what a gift that is.
It is. It is. It's a fun, it doesn't always have to remain static, as your tastes change, as you grow, or as you grow with your family, deciding what things inspire you more than others. And it's been fun, particularly working with many different kinds of collectors, as, artworks oftentimes become a part of the family and they become a part of your home and pieces. Sometimes some works you can't imagine your life without them. You can't imagine your home without them. And become such an active role in your day-to-day life. Whereas, other artworks over time, your love either fades or you want to try to find something else that better suits you and better suits your taste. And so it's so interesting to be able to see how anyone who buys art continues to, their tastes change or they remain the same and they know what they love and want to continue to enjoy surrounding themselves with all of these beautiful pieces.
Well, I know if anyone has a Sir Winston Churchill piece of art, it is something that is on display in their homes that they just love and enjoy. Where can people go to see the exhibit? Because I'm sure, this is like a rare chance to see this type of history.
It is. So several of the works are on view in our Jackson Hole, Wyoming gallery right now, but I'd say to see the entire collection, you can view at our website, heatherjames.com. So there is a very comprehensive look of all of the paintings and the history associated with them and many detailed images. So it's kind of a fun way to be able to virtually walk past them and see, starting, as I said, starting from 1919 all the way to 1958 and just, see Churchill as he evolved over the years. But if you're in the Jackson Hole area, seeing them in person, please stop by our gallery and take a look, because it's a rare treat to be able to be face to face with these rare objects.
And this exhibit is open until the end of the year?
It is until December 31st. So,
oh my gosh, we've got time to go and check it out in Jackson Hole. And what type of feedback are you getting from visitors and art critics since the exhibit opened?
Oh, we've been so blessed with some incredible feedback. As I said, this is the largest private collection in the world. We've had an amazing response from private collectors, but also, other art galleries that we work closely with. We recently had a write-up in the Smithsonian Magazine online, which is wonderful, and other national outlets as well. We've had many people walking into the galleries, actively looking for these works, but also calling in both domestically and internationally in the hopes of getting more information on them. And then others, of course, who are interested in acquiring them. So we've been so blessed to have such fantastic feedback and looking forward to finishing the exhibition. And as I said, several paintings are still available for sale. We'll see how that goes.
Well, what a great opportunity that is. Julia, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show with us here today.
Oh, well, I'm so glad. It was a pleasure to be able to speak with you and about the wonderful legacy of Sir Winston Churchill and the beauty that he created and left behind for us.
Well, thank you, Julia. It has been such an honor to spend this time with you and to talk about Sir Winston Churchill's art exhibit at Heather James Fine Art. To learn more about this historic exhibit, visit heatherjames.com. Well, we're at the end of our time today. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. You've been listening to Moments with Mary Ann, where we make every moment count.
In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Mary Ann is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary. A recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Marianne will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmarianne.com for more information.